Bushnell. Performance is the only thing. Federal premium ammunition, surgical precision, terminal results. Savage Arms. Better comes standard.
Hi folks, thanks for joining us here at Bushnell's Trigger Effect. We've got a two-part deer hunting episode lined up for you this week. We're going to start off here in Manitoba as our pro staff member Jason Bellows joins me for whitetail deer hunting right here in my own stomping grounds. In the second part of the episode, we're going to be joining host Dean Tremblay and pro staff member Tegan Kitt as they hunt with Battle River Outfitters in Saskatchewan, going after some amazing deer hunting. So you're not going to want to miss this. Stick around. We got some great deer action coming right up. I have put in a lot of work prior to Jason showing up to locate some good mature whitetail. Once I've located some mature bucks, the work doesn't stop there. I need to set up the blinds and let the deer get used to them. However, I am ready to start my hunt with Jason.
Well, it's our first morning out here, hey, Jason?
Yeah.
She's a bit cold.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited to be out here. I mean, my first whitetail hunt here in Manitoba, and we've really been looking forward to this. It is a little cold, like you said. I mean, minus 25 this morning, but
yeah,
it's deer weather.
You bet. There's lots of tracks in the field, so we'll get the light shut off, get the camera spun around, and get ready for first light.
Yeah, let's do this.
Right on.
Now, and had a couple does come through just behind us here, but not out in the field that we've got permission to hunt. So we're just kind of sitting tight, hoping that we'll find a girl, come out and bring her boyfriend with her. So sun's coming up, it's starting to warm up a bit, and hopefully these guys get moving here for us. So we just got down here and got set up. We've got a little doe down here beside us. We checked the cards. We actually had a pretty decent buck on here. He's a mature deer, but he's gonna bust it off main beam. So, but still a nice buck. We're after those matures, so that's a good deer. As we're getting set up, we caught one across the ridge over here chasing some does, a nice 5x5. So we're just gonna settle in for a few hours here tonight, and hopefully those girls bring them our way. Let's get them.
Well, Kent, here we are in your home province of Manitoba chasing whitetail. How are the deer populations doing?
Well, you know, Jason, about 4 or 5 years ago, we had a super crash in our population. We lost 70% of our herd at least, and but they are rebounding nicely. You know, every year they're coming back a little bit more and more.
Yeah. So with your biology background, what are you doing to manage these numbers? How are you watching the population?
Well, I mean, one of the most important things to managing these populations is monitoring it. And our biologists and our government officials are doing a good job as far as I'm concerned. But to learn more about wildlife management and also monitoring of populations, let's go to Lethbridge College and see what the professors have to say.
Like managing a herd of cattle, it's really important to start with basic questions like how many do we have, how many are bulls, how many are cows, and how many are adults and how many are juveniles.
Wildlife managers often estimate a population size by taking different samples of that population. They use those samples to draw conclusions about the population's size and density.
In the context of species of special concern, for example, with species at risk, it's really important to establish benchmarks so we can compare that to future trends in populations. When we take a step back and consider populations that are hunted or harvested, it's really important to understand what populations are doing for setting bag limits.
This is why hunter survey results are so important to wildlife managers. They can look at the data collected from this season and compare it to last season and seasons in the past to make real-time decisions on wildlife management based on those harvest numbers.
Sometimes we have species-specific surveys, for example, aerial surveys for moose or gobbling surveys for turkeys in the spring, and sometimes we study multiple species at once, for example, in the context of waterfowl.
Monitoring wildlife populations is one of the most important jobs a wildlife manager can have. However, the data sets required to do this should not just be left up to the government agents or the biologists. Hunters like yourself, myself, we need to contribute to this too. That means filling out your hunter questionnaires, tag filling, etc. This is why hunters are the true conservationists.
We're just hanging tight here, biding our time, and a good one's gonna show up.
This segment is brought to you by Westside Stores, your outdoor sports authority, and Safari Club International Canada, first for hunters.
Well, that was a pretty exciting sit here tonight. We had lots of action, lots of does running around. We had doe with twin fawns out a couple times, and saw a little spiker come through, and watched a pretty good buck across the valley again, chasing some does. So lots of action tonight. They're chasing, they're running all over, but just not here within range for us, that big guy. So we'll be back in the morning here. Lots of action, so let's get them in the morning. Alright, so we just got in here this morning. We're just getting a legal shooting light, and we can see some deer down the meadow here. We're watching them. The way they're posturing sure look like bucks, and the two of them just slammed heads and kind of went at it real quick and then split up there. So we're going to get settled in here and get quiet because they're coming our way. So hopefully we can get one here today. It's been pretty interesting so far. I've seen quite a few deer, but we come into the blind here this morning. There's a few down in the meadow past us, and one of them looked like a decent buck, but we don't know where he went. He slipped in the bottom here, and he's past us, so they might still pop out. And then we've been watching quite a few in these meadows, off in the distance here, but I mean, we can see quite a ways here in the prairies, so you can see some of these big deer, and they just tease you as they're going across the field out here a mile away, so it's pretty cool. But we're in a good spot, and it's just a matter of time. It's still pretty early, so these guys are milling around. They're still on the odd doe, so we're gonna get one to come by us here. Just gotta wait them up. Here comes a deer. It's a pretty good buck.
Oops, I bet you didn't expect to see me here again. Well, I'm back, and I have to do some explanation. We film all our hunts live and unscripted in the field, and I gave Jason the green light to go ahead and take that buck. Just as I did that, I accidentally hit the record button, shutting the camera down. And as soon as I got it back on, it was too late. Jason had already anchored that buck in his tracks. So that's the way the hunt played out, and that's the way we show it. Sorry, folks.
So that's how it goes. It happens pretty quick. We're sitting here, and out come a good buck. He come through and threw the glasses on him, and he looks pretty good. So he's out there about 180 yards, and boy, oh boy, we let the savage bark and thumped him. Down he went. Awesome.
One of the best rewards I could receive for all the pre-season work I put in is seeing a good friend knock down a nice whitetail buck. I sometimes forget how lucky I am to live in some of Canada's best whitetail habitat. As I watched Jason walk towards his buck, I could tell he was excited to notch his very first ever Manitoba whitetail tag.
Well, here he is, my first Manitoba whitetail. Can't be happier. I mean, we dealt with some rough weather. It was real cold in the first few days of the hunt here. Yesterday, snowing and blowing. it was really ugly and nothing wanted to be out. Today it broke, and boy, those deer are all over. We got does and fawns going everywhere, and this guy come out to us, come around and give us a good shot. We're not sure. We believe that maybe the camera malfunctioned here on us with the shot, on the impact shot. You know, he gave us good footage up to it, and then we're not sure what happened here, if we got the knockdown shot or not. But anyway, that's hunting. When we're trying to film it, sometimes it doesn't work out perfectly. But I couldn't be happier. This is a great buck, my first Manitoba whitetail.
Jason and I walked back up to my place and got the quad and trailer. It was a bit of a chore to get it down to his deer, but we did it. Once back at the house, I sat and watched one of our beautiful sunsets, and I was satisfied knowing that I played a role in creating a memory of a lifetime for Jason.
Well, it's another cool morning here in Saskatchewan. We're hunting again with Battle River Outfitters. We've moved to a different box blind and absolutely stunning location. It's a transitional habitat between big bush behind us. We're kind of in smaller bush here, and then it kind of opens up. Right off the hop, we saw whitetail doe out front. We've got some mule deer, doe and fawns to the left, and then we had actually a really nice, probably a 2.5-year-old whitetail buck move through a nice little 4x4. So things seem to be moving this morning. Stunning day, clear sky. We had a beautiful moon. We couldn't ask for a better set, but let's get back to some deer hunting. All the deer that were around the area this morning have kind of split up now, moved off. Well, that's really cool. We're sitting here watching about 5 does and fawn mule deer feeding, and all of a sudden Dean goes, "There's something moving in the bush," and I threw out my binos, and we had a young cow moose come out. That is really neat to see. I'm actually getting eyeballed by her right now. But there's a lot of game moving this morning. It's really, really neat. You just never know what you're going to see here at Battle River Outfitters. Well, we're in the midday lull, so I think it's time to play some word games. Pass the time. Awesome day. The only thing I'm missing right now is a hammock, a cold beverage, and a hot sandwich would be really nice. I would nap for about an hour. Tegan said she'd watch. She's a trooper. And I'm just going to be the old dude that's going to snore and drool. That's what it's all about, baby. Keeps pointing this thing at me. I'm really starting to get uncomfortable. It's kind of creepy, actually. Well, we're in the last hour of light. We had a bit of a flurry of activity about a half hour ago, but then for some reason now we're in a lull again. We haven't seen anything move. It's got really quiet, no wind. Really hoping something happens here. It's been a long sit. We've been in here all day. We've seen a lot of deer, a lot of bucks, a lot of recruitment bucks, but we just haven't seen anything big yet, so 1 hour. Hopefully some magic happens. have one whitetail out in front of us, a doe, and we also have one mule deer doe, but everything else is filtered out of the field here. Unless something happens in the next 5-10 minutes. I mean, it was a fantastic day. We saw a ton of deer, you know, lots of recruitment bucks, lots of does, lots of fawns, even saw the moose, which was really cool. But we didn't have any big bucks come out, not either muley or whitetail, so we're going to call it a wrap here pretty quick. Pack up, head back to the hotel, and get a bite to eat, because Tegan and I have been in here for almost 12 hours, and trail mix isn't cutting it anymore.
This segment is brought to you by Gold Tip. Start tough, stay true. Taxidermy services provided by Hunters Union and Ray Wiens Taxidermy. And thanks to these other fine sponsors.
Well, it's our second last morning. We're in a full moon phase right now and clear skies. When we were driving in, literally the truck could drive without the headlights. It was so bright. Tegan and I have already had like whitetail does moving all around us, heading back to the bush already after feeding. So it could be a bit of a slow morning, but hopefully we catch something moving this morning. If not, this evening should be a really good hunt. So we're going to keep our fingers crossed, keep our hopes up, and maybe get me tagged out here in Saskatchewan as well too.
The area we are hunting has both whitetail and mule deer. I grew up in the interior British Columbia, and that is also where I spent the majority of my biologist career. My specialty in wildlife was mule deer, so it was an amazing experience to watch this doe and fawn simply doing what mule deer do, surviving day by day by the doe getting enough nutrition to feed herself and her yearling fawn.
Maybe 10 feet from the blind. They just walk right by, you could hear their feet crunching in the snow. That was awesome. Talking to Kent, and right now we're on a full moon cycle, and it's been like really bright, and they're in Manitoba, about 7 hours away, and they're having the same issue. They had deer moving right at very first light, but since the sun's come up, everything's went into the trees. So oh, Tegan, right there. This one. Well, that happened really quick. We're just sitting in here, and Tegan and I were talking. It's been a slow morning because the full moon, sorry I'm a little bit shaky right now, but the full moon was, you know, literally playing games. We saw nothing moving for the last hour or two, and all of a sudden that nice buck came out, and you know what, I love prairie venison. I'm sorry, but it is like the veal in Canada. And I just looked at Tegan and I said, I'm going home with some meat today. What a beautiful looking deer. That was a solid hit. I hit him really good. He was running head down. I'm sure he just, you know, tucked and burned over here. So we're on the books. That's a wrap. Thanks, Teagues. That was awesome. Boy, what a beautiful morning. So we're just gonna head over to the impact site and look for blood. I'm pretty sure it didn't go very far. It was an incredibly solid hit. And lay my hands on a Saskatchewan whitetail. Well,
I was walking over in here and actually Tegan spotted the blood. Nice deep rich red blood, so it's a good solid center mass hit. So let's go tracking. Well, that's a nice little 5x5 here in Saskatchewan, and more importantly, it's a freezer full of meat. Like, look at the shape this buck is in. Absolutely incredible shape, great condition. I couldn't be happier. I mean, what a hunt. I mean, that's a wrap in Saskatchewan and a win in anybody's books. I mean, absolutely incredible. Battle River Outfitters, this is really, you know, it's a hunt of a lifetime, you know, to come out and be able to see as many deer as we've seen. You know, we saw moose, they've got elk here as well, and now to be able to go home and fill the freezer full of venison. Yeah, excellent. Well, time to get them out of here.
I wanted to say a huge thank you to Rick Albert, owner and operator of Battle River Outfitters, and especially to our incredibly hardworking guide and good friend Greg Thomas, aka Joe, aka Plucky. We hope to share the woods again with you one day soon.